Hey there, YouTube. Want to make a quick video on Raid Shadow Legends here and how to kind of track your champion progression or something to consider at least. I just started playing around with this today, so maybe it'll be a good thing to do. Maybe it won't. We'll see. It'll take some time to play around with it, but so the problem that I run into here is just to give you an idea where my account's at. I'm getting close to getting this Lady Arish champion from the login rewards. So I've been playing for quite a long time. So I've been playing for a long time, but I'm a very slow player, so it takes me a long time to progress and into to make progress and stuff in this game. But that's fine with me. I have a lot of fun with it. So the problem that I run into now, though, is I've gotten to a point. I just finished up a fusion. If we look at my champions here, I have a whole lot of level 50s and 40s and stuff for different champions for faction wars and things like that are hanging out here. But if I come into my account every day, I look, there's this big list of champions here, and which ones do I want to work on improving, right? Because now you can kind of answer that question by like if there's a certain area in the game that you want to progress at, and a certain champion is going to be good for it, then that's fairly easy. You can develop that one champion to get past that area of the game. But I guess kind of what I'm running into is I'm at a spot where like if I go in here, I don't really need to farm like super high end dungeons and stuff at the moment. That's not a huge priority for me right now in terms of boosting up my gear to like an insane level. I don't need to get super high end accessories. I don't need to push the highest ends of the different the Shogun and the Sand Devil levels and stuff. For me, I'm more interested in just like building up this big roster of champions so that I can have a lot of flexibility in my account. So I can kind of take champions from one area of the game and switch them over to another. So, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here is build up some of these champions, and also I'm trying to like build out my Great Hall and stuff. Again, people are probably seeing this and they're saying like, oh my God, this is horribly slow progression, but I like taking it slow. So anyway, so what's my proposal? My proposal is that whenever you log in, so whenever you do your dailies, when you log in, sorry, if I go over here, if you do your dailies, then this gives you like a prescribed list of stuff to do, right? And it handles most of your different resources in the game. So that'll give you a good amount of stuff to do every day. But whenever that's done, you're going to have some energy left over to use on whatever you want. And when you're at a spot like where I'm at right now, where I have this huge number of champions to work with, my question is like, what do I spend that energy on? What's the most important thing for me to work on? It's hard to answer because there's like just about everybody in this list is used somewhere, whether in faction wars or certain dungeons or things like that. And so it's just hard to prioritize where is best to focus on improving. So this is the thing I'm kind of playing around with here is a spreadsheet to kind of track the different champions that I have and where they are. So let me see. Actually, let me do this. There we go. So in here, I've put not all of my champions, but just the champions I'm interested in developing. So champions who should be good, relatively good at in-game, and who have some potential longer term. And I've kind of listed out some categories for each of them. So is the champion at least a 5-star? Are they up to 6 stars at level 60? Have they been fully ascended? Have they been booked? Do they have their masteries farmed? Do they have good gear? Do they have a blessing on them? There's probably a few more categories I'm not thinking about here. But so basically you say, here are all my champions I'm working on improving. Here are all, like, just in order to build out any one of these champions, you want to do all of these things ideally, kind of at a minimum. And so kind of getting it tracked in here gives like an easy checklist. So any day when you log into Raid and you're trying to figure out what to do, you can say, all right, well, I'm hanging out in Raid here. I have 50 energy left today. So what do I want to spend that energy on? Well, I can go to I can just kind of blindly go into the game and stumble around and do a dungeon or two and see what happens. Or I can kind of work from this list here and I can say, all right, well, out of these champions, which ones of these are my highest priority to build up? So, for example, for me right now, I'm working on building up my Arbiter, my Geomancer, and my Godseeker and Neri for a few different things. So, probably you could add a priority column here if you wanted as well. That might not hurt. But okay, so if I look at those 3 champions, what's the status on each of them? Well, Arbiter needs some books and needs some gear. Geomancer probably needs gear, needs a blessing, but he's got most of the other stuff taken care of. Godseeker and Neri needs to be leveled up to 60, needs to be booked, needs masteries, and needs a blessing, probably needs gear as well. So, based on that, okay, I have 50 energy. Where do I want to spend that 50 energy? Well, I could go to campaign, level up some food champions to get Godseeker up to 6 stars. Or I could say, let's send her to Minotaur, get the masteries farmed, and get that sorted out. Or I could, do a gear cleanse or something and try to figure out the right gear for her. Things like that. Or things like this, have all these really good newer champions sitting down here that need to be ascended, right? So that's an easy thing I can do to improve their power level. Just need to hit some dungeons. Just need to hit the potion keeps and knock out some of those, and then you can kind of turn this column green. So, anyways, that's it pretty much. Just the idea is to say, here are all the champions that I want to develop for my account's long-term progression. And then here are all the kind of dimensions of how to develop them. And then, the idea is instead of going into Raid and just doing stuff every day, the idea is to come in here and say, all right, who do I want to develop on any given day? And then kind of which aspect do I want to improve on? And then hopefully over time you'd see this start to fill in and get green. So that's pretty much it, but just to show how it works a little bit more detail is, so if you change the value here, it's going to change the coloring and stuff. The coloring is just nice so you can get a quick visual overview of where things are standing at. Right, I could see I have probably 10% or 20% of the amount of stuff that I want to do. Probably like 10% or 20% overall is done for all these champions. And so, it kind of gives you a way to track your progress on stuff too. The only other thing to add is how this was done, just for awareness. It's just, this is all conditional formatting in Excel. So basically you have this range of cells here, and then we have, if the value in the cell is unknown, then we're going to color it yellow. If it's no, then we're going to color it red. If it's yes, then we're going to color it green. So that's pretty much it. Just hope you found it interesting, something to think about. Maybe it's useful for you. For example, for me, probably my biggest things to do are like the obvious things that I can do, spend energy on, are run potion keeps to get these guys ascended, run campaign to get a bunch of food champions to level these dudes up, run a bunch of Minotaur to get the masteries farmed for these. And then some of these things are like books and blessings are more down to RNG and luck. So you can't really progress on those as easily. In gear, somewhat down to RNG, but you can spend effort to make that better by targeting, whatever gear sets that you want and things like that. So, anywho, that's all for now. See ya. Bye.